Now, our first guest today is best known as Tiffany Mitchell's femme fatale mother, Louise, in EastEnders. Now, after her exit from Albert Square, Carol Harrison felt pigeonholed and cast aside, she says, from starring roles. Now, almost 20 years later, she has been given a second chance in the spotlight. Here to tell us more, please welcome Carol Harrison. It's good looking back. Do you like looking back or not?
Oh, yeah, I do. I do, yeah. It's because it's got mixed feelings for me. It was a very... some ways wonderful time, some ways not so wonderful.
I mean, it was shocking, that storyline, wasn't it?
It certainly was, yeah.
Everybody's talking. Of course, you had huge
viewing figures and, yeah, everyone was gripped.
Yes.
So we gripped the nation.
And did people used to kind of shout at you in the street? Oh, you husband.
Well, actually, you know, it's really funny because... I was asked that, and lots of people do get that, don't they, when they're in a sort of scandalous storyline or something. But I didn't really get that from the public. You know, they were all, like, fascinated, and there was the bit, how could you? Yeah. But it wasn't too bad. I mean, the kind of things came a bit later in letters and stuff, because there wasn't, obviously, you know, the internet and the Twitter and all the stuff. No, I didn't get to you. So I was never attacked in the supermarket or anything like that.
How did it feel
bashed over the head with a pair of shoes or something.
How did it feel going into a huge soap like that? Because it's literally like the day before it airs, you have a fairly normal life, and then suddenly you're on this kind of level of recognition that must be quite hard to deal with.
Well, I mean, I'd been on TV for over 20 years before that, quite regularly.
No, but I'm talking about...
in my own series.
I'm talking about the soap opera, the mania around soap operas.
Yeah, well, suddenly you are in someone's house 3 times a week, aren't you, in their sitting room. You know, and it was a change. It was more of a...
But when
you're in their face, you know, but... as I say, I was quite used to that, so that, you know, being the
But when
artist.
you left, I know you found it difficult to get jobs that you were really happy with, but you went back to university, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
And you got an MA.
I did. I kind of... It's... Thank you! I'm clever, really. I may not seem it, but I am.
Oh, no, don't do yourself down. No.
No, well, maybe other people don't see me that way, but I went and did my MA in screenwriting because it was, as I say, it was a difficult time. I took myself out of the spotlight because... Yeah, a lot of the parts that were being offered at that time were the same sort of parts of these, strangely, just because I was over 40 then, these sort of, you know, older women who were predatory on young men and, you know, this sort of...
Troubled old misery.
Yeah.
Or troubled middle-aged misery.
Yeah.
What did you want to
But dressed up as something else, you know.
What did you want to play?
Well, I wanted to play what a woman in her 40s would be, who's, like, you know... seen a bit of life, sassy and, you know, taking on the world with a bit more experience.
Yeah, talking about seeing...
Well, what I've, you know, sort of said, and I've come out to say it now, and I've never really said this before, is that in some ways I really wish I hadn't have taken that part because I'd never been really typecast before, but... When at first it was fabulous because the character was all of those things that us glorious women are, you know, when we get over 40, which was really sassy and outspoken, but...
Well, you've got that now. Sorry to interrupt you, just because I need to get Thunder Girls.
Oh, you must get Thunder Girls
because obviously Coleen, we've been to see Thunder Girls, and our Coleen is in it, and that is, you know, a perfect part for you because it is older women, sassy older women who have had a history and come... So how would you describe Thunder Girls?
Well, I think Thunder Girls is the absolute ultimate girls' night out because it's with these 4 women who are absolutely... empowered, you know, and it's about a girl band who are reuniting or trying to do... It's the actual dinner... It's, well, many things, which all comes out in the show, which is incredible, you know, all the acrimony and the fights and all the hate. But the thing was, they were friends, so it's whether they can make up or not, and it's actually... It's a bit of sort of... Joan, between me and Beverly Callard, there's quite a lot of, you know, Betty and Joan, you know, that sort of actual fight.
So when you were sent that script, what did you think?
It was the part I'd been waiting for 20 years, really.
Is that why you say you're like a phoenix rising from the ashes?
Rising from the ashes. Well, yeah, because as I said, I'd taken myself out. And when I said I'm sorry that I took that part, I didn't really finish that just to say I loved the part I was playing. I loved Louise, and I loved her at the beginning, but I didn't like the way that I was being that women of that age were being represented, and I felt some sort of responsibility to it, and I felt helpless. And it was the regime at that time. I don't think it's like that anymore. So, unfortunately, for me, a job that should have been the greatest time in my life, and I'm an EastEnder, so I really wanted to be an EastEnder.
The thing is, though, the nature of soap operas, if you think about it, is they do have to have a sense of the kind of dramatic, don't they? So if they dramatised all of our lives, it would be quite dull. So they do have to kind of put in... No, but they do have to kind of put in dramatic storylines.
Yeah.
No, my life would be dull.
Janet's could be a whole soap opera. But listen, Thunder Girls, it's like you said, it's a fantastic night out.
Yes.
It's all about very empowered, feisty women.
I mean, it's got everything you could ever want.
And it's going on tour starting in September.
We start in September and we go throughout the UK. And can I just say, you know, it's got Beverly Callard in it and myself, and we're head to head, which is amazing to be with her.
It is really
but
good.
we've also got Coleen.
I need to go to the break. I'm so sorry. It's one of those counts. They're counting and shouting.
She is fantastic.
Carol Harrison,
Colleen's
everybody.